A mouthful of dirt or a mouthful of cool, clean water? Which would you prefer? Obviously, cool, clean water is the preference. Dirt belongs on the ground, not in your mouth. And that's why every RVer should have an RV water filter system of some kind. Regardless of where you go camping, where you get your water from, you should have one of these. Hey everyone, I'm Eric Stark, the host of the Smart RVer podcast, presenting another Fast Tip Friday. Today we're going to be talking about RV water filters. So let's peel this banana open and see what's inside. So as an RVer, you might ask the question, why do I need an RV water filter? Well, a lot of that depends on where you go, what you do, what kind of water you encounter, but nonetheless, an RV water filter is going to remove all the impurities out of the water. It's going to take out the dirt, the microbes, the different smells, algae, lead, things you can't even pronounce. It gets all the garbage out of the water and makes it nice and clean and much safer to drink if you want to drink it. Some people just won't drink it regardless, but other people will. It makes life easier when you can just drink the water out of your tap rather than having to bring bottled water. But nonetheless, everybody should have a water filter. Now, someone might say, I fill my RV tank up at home and I have good water at my house. So do I need a filter? Yeah, you probably do, because your water has impurities in it. And depending on your house, if it's a well or city water, the water might be good, might be bad. Like here in Montana, it seems like most well water is just bad. You know, some wells are better than others, but all in all, they have problems. And so filtering it is absolutely necessary. Now, if you live someplace where you're on city water, now maybe the city water is okay, but it's still going to have impurities in it, and I'd still filter it. You'd be surprised what will come out of that city water, and the filter might change colors. You might really be surprised. So if you're to fill your tank, use a filter like this in a canister and pull it out and look at it, this thing might be brown after just 40 gallons of water. 100 gallons, it might be really brown. So I would highly recommend a filter of some kind, even if you're filling up at home. Now, what about RV parks? They're built for RVs. Shouldn't they have clean water? Nope. They follow the same or get their water from the same sources that houses do, businesses do. They might be on a well water, so the water might be horrible. For example, recently I went RVing and the water had a strong sulfur smell in it. And without a filter, it would have been miserable. You couldn't even turn on the water. It smelled so bad. But the filter made it bearable. It was still nasty water. You certainly wouldn't drink it, but it was bearable. The filter made the difference. And that was a one filter system. That's the only thing I had with me at the time. Huge difference. And everybody else that went with me didn't have a filter at all. They couldn't even turn on their tap water from the city. It was there from the park. It was so bad. So RV parks don't always have clean water. Well, no one has clean water anymore. Let's just be honest about it. Now, you might say, I drink bottled water. So do I really need one of these filters? I'd say yes. It's just it's a cautionary type of device. It's going to keep that water cleaner. It keeps your water system in the RV cleaner. And if you did need to drink the water, it wouldn't be so bad. You might be surprised how the water would taste, especially if you have decent water to begin with. But even the holding tank in your RV is going to have some flavors and stuff in it. So this filter will help with that. So even if you drink bottled water, it cleans the water for your RV. So if you're boiling water, you're using water for oatmeal, things like that, the water's just going to be a little bit clearer, cleaner, better. So you don't have to rely on that bottled water for everything. Even brushing your teeth is going to taste better. So now it sounds like a hassle to use a filter. It might be, depending on where you go, how you go, what kind of system you want to go with. But I recommend a system that's simple, something you can manage, that you and your family can manage, your spouse. So it's not a big deal. You don't dread, dragging it out. Oh, man, I got to get that filter system out. No, man, keep it simple. Why make it a hassle? There's enough stuff to do when you're setting up an RV anyways. So keep it simple. Now, some people say RV filters or water filters are very expensive. And that's not the case. You know, when you break it down per month or gallon of water, they come out to pennies. It's not that much. And you might just use one filter for a season, and that's it. You know, every season you spend $30, $25, whatever it might be. that's not so bad. When you really think about especially if you're going to have better water. And depending on where you go, you might really have to have a water filter just to get the water halfway decent, kind of like that RV park I mentioned, or if you're in Arizona, different places where the water can just be really nasty. So now, what types of RV filters are there for RVs? The different types. I mean, you see this thing right here. This is 3 canisters. It looks pretty big and heavy duty, like the boss of the water filter business, and it pretty much is. But you don't have to have something like this. So for a lot of RVers, depending on what they're doing, maybe they just go out on weekends, during the summer months, spring and summer months, they might need something just very simple like this. So this is an inline water filter system. It goes right up to your garden hose. So this would connect to the side of your RV, and here's the filter, has an arrow showing the flow, which all these filters do. So let me just put this together so you can see it kind of in perspective with your RV. So pretend this is your city water hookup, and you got a 90-degree elbow on here, which every RVer should have one of these to keep this water hose going straight down rather than out and curving. That ruins the fitting in here. And the filter comes with this short hose here. So that goes on there, and that's actually designed to put it on straight so it comes out and bends. But I wouldn't recommend that at all. Get one of these 90s. Every RV store sells them. It's a must-have. So this is an inline water filter. It just goes on your water hose. It goes from the city water hookup to your hose bib or the park water, your house water, whatever it might be. So these things are fairly inexpensive. They run from anywhere, let's say $35 up to about $80, depending on what one you buy and where you buy it, all that good stuff. But these work pretty good. It's going to get out most of the problems you'll have in your water system. So that's for the person that just wants to keep it very simple, but have a water filter that's somewhat effective. A single filter only does so much, but they do work. Now also, when you get an inline water filter like this, you can also get one of these. It's a pre-filter. This collects the sediment, so basically the dirt in the water, and it'll actually make this filter last longer by having this on there. So these are made by Camco. These work really nice little add-on to the inline water filter. So that's one type. Then there's the canister systems. So this here's a canister. You've probably all seen one of these, whether it's in your RV, in the store, someplace. Pretty simple. The water filter just drops right inside of it, like so. Then you put your lid back on, and you're done. Now these hook up to a garden hose, and these can be outside the RV. Sometimes they're inside the RV. They can be under a counter. They can just go sit on the ground outside. You can make a little rack for it. You can buy racks for them. These work real nice, and this is kind of my preference no matter what, because you can replace the filter. It's a little less expensive later on. You can see what that filter is collecting, see what kind of problems you have, and maybe prompt you to get 2 filters. Go to a 2-filter system. And this type of filter, so this is just a single canister by itself. This could be installed anywhere in an RV. Then you can get systems like this here, which this is 3 canisters, but you can get the same thing in 2 canisters, and you can get it in 1 canister. So it just depends on what you want. So this is basically a 1 canister. A kit comes with a bracket, so it can be mounted on a wall if you want to mount it on a wall. Some people just set these outside in a bucket. They don't have a rack like this. They just get a couple canisters, hook them together with some pipe, and make their own 2 system, 3 system, which sometimes it's a little less expensive. Then they use like a 5-gallon bucket and just set it in. There you go. You got a nice water filter system. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's what's inside that makes it good. So that's the canister type. And then you have the under-the-counter systems, which, it could be one of these. This is considered an under-the-counter. Some RVs come with these, like near the kitchen sink. They have another type of filter that would look very similar to this one, except the fittings on the end are different. They're 1/4-inch pipe or a female pipe thread, and they go in line. And sometimes those just go to a single faucet in the RV, so it's not filtering the entire RV, just one faucet that's designed just for fresh water, drinking water. So if you have one of these in your RV, I would take it out and put it outside. Get it out of the RV. This is something you forget to winterize, and if you forget to winterize it, the canister breaks and you got a problem. one more expense. So any RV I've ever had that's had one of these inside, I immediately replumb and it goes outside. That way it's easier to manage, easier to change the filter. You don't forget about it. But that's just me, trying to make my life easier, trying to make your life easier. So that's the different types. Now, if you like what I've said so far, please like and subscribe. And also, there'll be links to the manufacturer's websites for this stuff in the description below. Now, let's talk about the brands. Camco is a very popular brand. This is Camco right here. Like I said earlier, this is a three-filter system. 1, 2, 3. Each filter has a particular purpose, and that would be, I kind of jumped ahead here on the brands, but when you get into the canister systems, each filter is not going to be the same. They're going to be a little bit different. Like this would be considered a sediment filter, and it's going to collect some of the smaller things, algae, some of that stuff, and then this one really gets the brunt of it. Then anything that gets past this filter gets caught in this filter. And these are all based on microns. Like this filter's a 0.5 micron. This one's a 5 micron, and this is a 0.2. So it's really small, or at least the openings. And to put that into perspective, a human hair is about 70 microns. It's like 70 microns. So it's tiny. 5 microns is nothing. And so this is a KDF type filter. This is a carbon block, and this is just like an allergy type filter, just get rid of all the other stuff. This one doesn't have a true name, but it just gets out all the leftover impurities. When all else fails, you can just use a carbon block filter. If you have a one canister system, so if you had this, I'd put a carbon block in it. Or this. These are a little bit cheaper, but they work really well. Don't misunderstand me. These do work good, but these work better. So that's the point of triple filters. So if you have a two-filter system, you might just go with these two. Or you might go with these two. It just depends on where you're at, what type of water it is. You might have to experiment a little bit. So that explains that, hopefully. Now, the common brands are Camco, Pentair, and Pentair is SureFlow. They make a lot of water filter systems. And they also make this guy here. Maybe you have one or you've seen this or had an RV. These are kind of older. These are from the first filter systems that ever came in RVs, but they're still out there. They're still being used to a degree. Not the greatest system. I would stay away from this. These canisters are expensive. Don't last forever. Avoid it if you can. If you have an RV with one of those, upgrade it to something newer. Then Valterra makes filters, which is actually what this brand is. And Flowpeer makes filters, which here's a Flowpeer filter. And Culligan makes them. Here's some Culligan stuff. So yeah, those are the major brands. And there's other ones, but for RV stuff, I'd stick with those. Avoid some of the cheaper things. This isn't something where you want to just totally buy on the price. You want to buy on the quality. And these are what you're going to find in RV stores. And, each brand basically makes the same stuff. This isn't really that complicated. 3 filters is really all you need. Or one of these 3 or 2 of these 3, depending on your system. So when you go into a store, hopefully they have it simplified and it makes sense. You don't need a bunch of different stuff. These are the boxes for these filters on here. So you can see how they look in a store, what it's going to look like. Very simple. We don't want to do box openings here. How I feel about that. Wasted time. But it gives you an idea what they look like, what to look for. So hopefully the store has this dialed in where it makes sense. That's how our store is. It makes sense. You can find what you're looking for. If there's not someone to help you, you can do it on your own. So now, some ask me, what kind of filter system do I have? Or what would I prefer? Well, my RV, I have a 2 canister system like this. So it has 2 filters in it. And it works great. Now, I had a single canister system, but I upgraded to the 2. Just wanted it. And I got actually the Camco one. I like it. It's kind of clunkier because it comes with the cage around it. But you know what? Setting it up's easy. You don't have to worry about it. Falls over, nothing's going to get broken. In fact, it's going to be pretty hard for it to fall over. I like it. And I just use these 2 filters here. The KDF filter and a carbon block. That's all I need. They work great. And if you're ever out and about and you run out and your filter's bad, let's say you're out camping, You can get cheaper filters too. Like this is a carbon paper type filter. So these, are about $10, $12, very inexpensive. They don't last as long, don't work as well, but if you need a filter and you're out and about, you're in a pinch, you just get something like this. In fact, even this is truly just a sediment filter. That's its sole purpose, but it's better than nothing. Or if you're going to be filling up your RV at home, the water's horrible, you can throw one of these in just to collect all the garbage, and if you have a 2 canister system, because these things will change color pretty quick. You'll be surprised. So anyways, that brings us to the end. I hope that information was helpful. It's up to you where you go camping, where your water source is, how good or how bad it is, and that kind of dictates the filter. But I like the 2 canister system. Even if you build your own, 2 canisters are great. It has you covered on the filter line. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe and look in the comment section for more information. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.